Welcome to Paris, the next race of the NASCAR International Cup Series. Kronberg is starting in first once again, but hopefully he doesn't have any engine failures like he did the previous two times. He's had a very up and down season so far, starting off great, then being in horrible form, returning in great form, winning 2 of 3 races at one point, and then a dip in form again. He's going to want to use this high-speed 30-lap, 200 miles per hour oval to ensure that he can get back into title-winning form. And it might help that the current points leader, Luis Gustavo Namarza, is starting in the middle, but the third place driver or second place driver, actually Avante Martin, is starting in fourth, and he's going to look to get aggressive early as we go underway. You can just hear from how high-pitched the cars are that they are going all out already. Coming into turn 3. Nobody is crashing yet, but Hopkins looks to take the outside. We have the Mason-Dixon Motorsports top 2. The Shelby Cobras of Paul Kronberg and Noonan. But here's the 65 of Stevenson, who looks to make a run. Trying to get the slipstream to go into the inside. But it won't work out. The 65 has to slow down coming into turn 3, and that's going to let the sparkling splitter of Martin go way past him. And the 65's block is going to prevent some of the cars from getting further up the pack as well. A very good battle for second we have here between Martin and Noonan, and Martin just zoomed past Noonan. He is getting very aggressive early, but let's see what that does to the tire wear of Martin. Noonan going into the inside. This reminds me a lot of the last lap at Michigan a few weeks ago, as Martin and Noonan were battling for the win. Kronberg so far so good, but here comes Martin into the inside. Is Martin going to attack Kronberg? He attacks Kronberg from the back. Both of them slow down, and Kronberg does a great job to save it, and that's going to let Noonan go into the inside, I think. But Martin has more of a run going into the outside. Ravante Martin, your current points champion, showing his aggressiveness very early. But going too much into the outside is going to let Noonan catch up, and now Paulia Hopkins has joined, who has been in very good form as of late. Martin into the outside, swerves to try to hit that apex as good as he can. Martin will take lap 5. The gap between him and Noonan is getting bigger. It might be those worn out tires, but Kronberg has fallen out a bit. And then here is Hopkins going into the outside. Huckleberry goes into the inside. Kronberg is looking to catch up. Here's the cockpit cam of Kronberg. Martin has the lead, Noonan in second. It could be any one of these four at the moment, but Rana is still making a great run. He's very fast coming out of turn 2, and maybe can catch up to Kronberg using the draft. Coming into the inside. But we have a very good battle going on here. Noonan is catching up to Martin. You see, this is what Lavonte Martin sees. Sparks flying, almost hitting Noonan's windshield. But that doesn't affect his speed. That splitter is probably messed up, but at this point, it's really just for show. But here comes Noonan into the inside. Martin is a little bit loose coming into turn 3. Noonan is getting closer. The rookie of Dave Noonan. The rookie of Dave Noonan racing with the current champion. So far, so good. We've had a very clean race so far. Nobody has crashed out yet, surprisingly. Let's see if there's any other good battles going on here. But this battle for first is getting good. Never mind. Noonan is getting closer to Martin. This is definitely the battle we want to see at the moment. Noonan going into the outside to wrap his way around Martin. Is he going to get a full car leaf? No, he is not. Martin into the inside. Coming into turn 3. Meanwhile, Morrison Jr. and Huckleberry are again teammates battling for a position. But here comes Hopkins. Hopkins looked for a move into the inside of Noonan. You're over by helicopter cam. Noonan is trying to take the lead again, but Martin is faster coming out of the turn. And how about Rada? He's usually not in the top 5, but here he is now. Maybe hoping that the leaders can screw up a bit. Noonan again. Noonan still just looking for the time to pass. Does he want to do it now, or does he want to wait until we're barely 1/3 of the way done with the race, so maybe he's just being patient. But if you know Levante Murray, he is anything but patient. He wants to lead. He wants to get away from Noonan as much as he can and get away from him now. Hopkins and Kronberg are perfectly fine with just staying in the draft. Hey, Martin, he's into the wall there. He got really loose coming out of 4, and that's going to let Noonan go into the inside. Noonan has now officially taken the lead. Martin is... Will Martin block Hopkins, or will Hopkins be able to get the pass as well? It looks like not quite. Martin is still in seconds, and Kronberg and Hopkins are right next to each other. That's going to let Rada catch up a bit. Here comes Kronberg into the inside, lap 14, almost halfway there. And Kronberg is very slow coming into turn 1, and that's going to let Rada and Huckleberry pass. But meanwhile, back up front, it's Noonan and Martin. Martin into the outside. If this was stage racing, they would have really good battle for points, but in this point system, the only points that matter are the points at the end. Lap 15, side by side, 2 wide coming into turn 1 between Noonan and Martin. Can the 20-year-old David Noonan hold on with the 23-year-old of Levante Martin? Coming into turn 3, here comes Hopkins. Hopkins looks to be taking second now, coming out of nowhere. And Hopkins might be able to pull it off. Hopkins has lost speed a little bit. Noonan is in the lead. Looking from the roof cam of Levante Martin. As you can see, Levante Martin is getting very aggressive. He wants his lead back. Taps the back of the 5. Oh, and he both hit the wall! Noonan was too slow going into 1, and they both hit the wall because of it. Noonan has fallen way back, but Martin is still going. He is still in the lead, and now it's Rada. It's Steve Rada who's taken first. Can he get his first win of the season? But now Martin is going to the inside. The front of his car is clearly damaged, but he doesn't seem to care at the moment. But meanwhile, here's Kronberg and Dustin Morrison Jr. also out of nowhere, who has taken first and second away. The 5 of Noonan has fallen back hard. You can see that he's fallen all the way back to 25th. Took way harder of a hit than Martin did. They were both right next to each other coming into turn 3, and Noonan seemed to have tried to brake check Martin. But the very aggressive racing has hurt both of them, especially for Noonan, as he's going to fall all the way to last. 20 seconds behind. But now the main battle is Dustin Morrison Jr. versus Felix Kronberg. Dustin Morrison Jr. has always been known as being the sidekick to Buckworth Huckleberry and Volkswagen La Panza for the German team. But Dustin Morrison Jr. wants to prove that he can be just as much of an elite level as his teammates. Can the Canadian pull off his first win of the season? As you can see, Noonan is already 1 lap down. He's had to go into pit road. Noonan is still getting damage fixed there. Meanwhile, where is Martin? This is a very good battle we hear for the top positions. Martin is currently in 3rd. Despite the damage, he is a slower car, and I imagine cars like Salter, who's also come out of nowhere, is going to try to pass. But let's get back to the main battle for the lead. Felix Kronberg still has the lead at the moment. Dustin Morrison Jr. holding on. David Noonan has come back onto the field to try to finish the race. Probably hoping for another crash so he doesn't finish last. Dustin Morrison Jr. is slower, though. If I'm Morrison Jr., I definitely want to be able to take advantage of the draft. Do not leave Felix's slipstream until he is there. Just leaving that stream for a second, you know how fast Felix is. One of the best stock car drivers in the world right now. The German versus the Canadian. 8 laps to go. The gap is now 0.45. Felix Kronberg has increased the gap. The fastest lap was Levante Martin with a 27.6. But the 70 is currently in 4th. Noonan is down, Huck is down. Huck is trying to battle with Noonan to try to catch back up in a miracle. But Martin is currently trying to hold up cars. He knows that he does not want to lose positions, or else he's going to lose his battle in the title race as well. But speaking of that, your current points leader, Luis Gustavo de Marza, is running pretty middle of the pack. He is in 17th, which is really going to help Felix Kronberg. He just had a poor qualifying run, and because of that, he's just running the middle of the pack because of a poor qualifying run, and hasn't really been specializing here as well. He's actually lost positions. But let's get back to the battle for the lead. The gap has stayed the same for the last couple of races. Can Dustin Morrison Jr. catch up? There's going to be 5 laps to go coming to the line. If Morrison Jr. wants to make a move, it's going to be now. Coming into turn 1. Here's the cam here of Dustin Morrison Jr. You can see that his water temperature could be higher, which lets the downforce from putting in more growth curve lets him take his turn faster. Morrison Jr. probably should have added a little bit more to the race if he wants to catch up with Kronberg. The Kronberg is at the same as well. The gap closed, and now the gap has expanded again. It is now barely happening. It is now 0.6 seconds. Kronberg has caught up. Dustin Morrison Jr. is not caught up yet. The gap has increased slightly, but you can see Dustin Morrison Jr. is being ever so slightly closer. The 8th has caught up to 14th, but the gap has gotten even bigger now. Actually, no, it's not gotten bigger. It's decreased by 1/100th of a second. These two cars are way ahead, but second and third, that would be a good result for Volkswagen La Panza. Another good result for Jay Salter after winning an Auto Club. Martin, despite his damaged car, is still very well into the top 10. But we have 2 laps to go here. It is now or never for Dustin Morrison Jr. He has closed the gap by half a second. 2/2 a second. Coming into turn 3. Morrison Jr. looks to be getting closer, but will it be enough? 1 lap to go here in Paris. Coming into turn 1. Kronberg still has the lead and still has a very convincing lead. Unless he screws up here, it should be his for the taking. A very roller coaster career indeed. A very roller coaster campaign indeed for Felix Kronberg. Up and down, but coming out of turn 4, his campaign is going to go right back up and will win it here in Paris. By not even 0.2 of a second, Morrison Jr. made a very good run at the end there. Meanwhile, the rest are finishing as well. Martin finishes 6th, and the 8 has managed to catch up to 11th. Made a good late run there, but that made a good late run there to close in, to try to either expand or close in that gap for the title race. And unfortunately for David Noonan, he will finish 3 laps down.